Hey guys, it's Sebastian the Sick Witch. Today I wanted to talk about spell crafting and take you through the process on how you can write your own spell. There are plenty of spells available on the internet and in witchy books, but I find that the spells that I craft and write myself end up being the most potent and the most successful. Okay, let's go through the steps. Step 1, define your desire in the most specific terms possible so the universe is crystal clear on what you want. What will achieving this desire look like for you in your life? Why do you want it? How will it change your life? Remember to consider all the variables in either the success or the failure of this spell, particularly any obstacles that are currently present or any obstacles that might get in the way of achieving your desire in the future. Decide how you will measure your progress. That's going to be different based on you and based on the type of spell that you're casting. So it might have something to do with a deadline or a scale from 1 to 10. It's completely up to you. And as you're considering these things and honing in on and focusing on your desire, I recommend doing all of this through journaling and continuing to edit what the phrase or the sentence is that is clearly stating your desire until it feels completely aligned for you. Step 2, figure out what you will be able to do over the time period after you've cast the spell of the different magical and mundane things that you can do in your everyday life that is going to help this spell and this desire of yours to manifest. Will you have to make adjustments to your daily routine? Will you have to do things that maybe are outside your comfort zone or outside of the norm for you? Maybe that looks like getting up earlier. Maybe that looks like doing yoga more often. Maybe that looks like doing cleansing rituals on yourself or your space more frequently, setting up or strengthening wards and protective circles for your home and your space more frequently. It's going to be based, of course, on your desire, but make sure that you have a lot of activities and actions in place so that after your spell, you're going to be able to keep up that juice and that potency of the spell work to achieve your desire and meet the universe halfway. Step 3, begin to meditate on what it will look like for this desire that you've really honed in on now, what it will look like once it has manifested in your life. Do a visualization exercise. That can be through meditation, that can be through manifestation scripting, where you write in detail what your life is going to be like with this spell having manifested. This will help your witchy brain be able to really focus and hone in on what your goal is for the spell coming up, but also to be infusing all of your manifestation techniques afterwards. Step 4, research what correspondences are associated with your goal. So what color is associated with your goal? What deity, what crystal, what herb, etc. For example, if you were doing a manifestation spell for prosperity, say you're very specific about, I want a full-time job that pays $50,000 a year in publishing, and I have a great healthcare plan. Obviously worded a little bit better. But correspondences for that type of desire would be the color green, would be herbs that are associated with prosperity like mint, prosperity crystals like pyrite, and so on. Also brainstorm about what acts of magic will most aid you in having your desire come true based on the type. So for example, back to the prosperity spell and trying to manifest a job, the spell work could be you making a money bowl. Also consider what day, hour, or moon phase will best assist your working, which will determine when exactly you would be casting the spell. Sticking with our prosperity spell, for example, you might want to do your spell on a waxing moon, which is great for manifestation, on Sunday, which is associated with prosperity and abundance, among many other things. And then any hour of the day that's associated with either the planet Jupiter or the Capricorn zodiac sign. Write a poem, incantation, or mantra that will help get your goal and your spell as rooted as possible, and so you can recite it and incorporate it into when you are casting the spell. Again, of course, all of this should be taken with a grain of salt and should be personalized based on your needs, abilities, and preferences. Step 5, write out the spell. This may take many drafts to get exactly what feels good for you or what feels most aligned. In the spell, make sure you're very clearly stating the intention and including very detailed information about each and every step of the spell. Once you feel like the spell is near perfect, you can transcribe that either into your journal or your book of shadows for the future, and just to record your magical activity in general, since that is what your book of shadows is for. Step 6, now it's time to cast your spell. So before casting your spell, make sure that you have cleansed yourself and your space. Make sure you have all of the tools that you need within arm's reach or on your altar before you cast your circle. Make sure you're able to carve out time for yourself where it's going to be quiet and you can be alone, or that there won't be any distracting sounds in the background. Maybe let your relative or your partner or your roommate know that at this time I am going to be needing quiet and privacy. Perform the spell, of course, in your sacred space, just following the blueprint that you made yourself from the spell that you wrote in your book. And once that's done, that is not the end. The seed has been planted, and now the work is going to be focused on germinating that seed and growing the plant or your goal and manifesting your desire. I recommend keeping up with a daily journaling practice where you can track the progress of your spell. That's going to help you be more connected to yourself, your body, your feelings, but also the environment around you, and be open to receiving messages from the universe or your guides, noticing synchronicities. However, don't overdo it. Don't be super hyper vigilant about it, because then it's not going to grow. let it take its course, trust in your magic, and just be mindful and notice and take notes as you go. I like to save all of what I call my spell trackers because I like to be able to reflect on that afterwards and in the future see what spells worked the best. Even if you don't get the job right away, you'll know that things are moving in the right direction from these smaller signs. So use that as motivation and encouragement to keep on going and keep on with your magical and mundane activities that you're doing every day, because clearly you're doing a good job and you're on the right track. It's not going to manifest overnight, just get a job, right? That's not realistic. And that is the same logic that you would use for a spell. Contrary to what some people may think who don't really understand magic or witchcraft, you can't, snap your fingers and make something happen overnight. It is a process of you collaborating with the universe, with your deities, and with your higher power. And it takes work and it takes time, but it is effective. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this gave you some valuable information about how to go ahead and get started and start writing your own spells and casting your own spells. I'm excited. Let me know if you do end up writing or casting your own spell. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks guys, bye.